There is no doubt that the sniper rifle and the sniper role has always had a certain amount of mystique to it. We see this in movies such as Shooter or American Sniper, where we can go behind the scope of the characters as they seemingly are able to take out anyone from anywhere with pinpoint accuracy and with the single pull of a trigger. The role of the sniper has always been one of support and force multiplying, because a good sniper can lock down an area and keep enemies' heads down while friendly frontline forces navigate the terrain. In the airsoft world, some of that mystique translates as well, with renowned players such as Novritsch popularizing the role with his long-range precision shots. However, we all know that in airsoft, even as a sniper, you need to be constantly on the move, which is why manufacturers make many popular sniper rifles such as the VSR-10, the Aries Striker series, and some of the Silverback SRS rifles as light as possible.
But you see, apparently Silverback didn't get the memo. Because this gun, this is a beast. Real sniper rifles such as these guys, these big bore snipers, are supposed to be big and heavy, and that really helps with the stability and accuracy of the gun. And in airsoft, we've seen big and heavy sniper rifles before, namely the SOCOM Gear M200, basically the ShyTac Intervention, or the M82, which is the Barrett. Now for added realism, since they're being big bore, those rifles were chambered in 8mm instead of, the HTI standard 6. And to make matters worse, you had to shell load those things. So since those shells were so expensive, I shudder at the fact that losing one of those shells. A lot of those guns oftentimes just became beautiful wall hangers that you just kind of fidget with your friends with in the garage when they come over. But this guy aims to change that. I wonder how.
The HTI, or the Hard Target Interdiction, which inadvertently sounds like a porno, comes from Desert Tech, which are the same manufacturers that brought us the famed SRS. The gun looks and almost feels like an SRS on steroids. A lot of steroids. The HTI was designed to be chambered in 375 ShyTac, 408 ShyTac, 416 Barrett, and of course 50 BMG. This airsoft version only shoots 6mm. There's also a little bit of trivia out there about the HTI. Back in 2017, the Czech Republic actually ordered around 30 of these bad boys to be used by their special forces. The more you know. The Silverback SRS has undoubtedly proven to be an extremely popular gun over the years due to its unique bullpup design, which ensures that you still get a very compact package but does not compromise on your barrel length, which gives you maximum power and accuracy downrange while making it extremely maneuverable. To give you an idea as to what I'm talking about, this is the HTI in bullpup configuration. For such a big bore gun with an extremely long barrel, it's still very compact. And to give you that context, this is the Aries Amoeba Striker AS01. I put it next to each other. They're basically the same length, but the HTI has a much longer barrel, as it is from here all the way to its action back here. The HTI is a big bore gun though, and I feel like for such a big gun, we can't compare it to this guy. We need to compare it to something huge, and we have just the one to compare it with. This is the ShyTac M200 Intervention in all of its glory. Immediately you're gonna see that the HTI is so much more compact compared to this. And immediately you're gonna realize, right after you see that it's more compact, that the HTI is just a much more viable gun to take to games. Imagine finding a bag for this thing. Not to mention the weight. Look at how heavy this thing is. compared to the HTI. Yes, some out there are going to say that the HTI is nothing more than just an SRS's cousin from the Schwarzenegger side of the family. But I assure you that the differences of this gun between the SRS are more than just skin deep. And to prove it to you, I'm going to compare the both of them side by side. Ideally, we should be using the 26-inch version of the SRS, but since we didn't have one on hand, this one is the 22-inch version. So we're gonna start from the front end. You'll see both guns use a very different muzzle brake. This is the one on the HTI, and it's pretty big. Both rails are very similar but different. The HTI has a much bigger rail because it has to support a much bigger outer barrel, but its mounting options are exactly the same and take the exact same Picatinny rail sections that come with each gun. This is a pretty big and girthy outer barrel, and if you're staring this thing down, you're gonna be a little intimidated. But if you look down this thing, it's just that same 6mm inner barrel that we use with our BBs. The form factor of both guns also sport noticeable differences, starting with the lower portion. Right in front of the trigger guard of the HTI is a carrying section, while the SRS does not have this. The HTI is a much heavier gun than the SRS, and this carry section is placed right in the middle of the gun, giving it added balance when carrying since it doesn't have any other carrying handle. The magazine and bolt itself are also quite different from the SRS, but we'll touch on those later when I show you how to field strip the gun. The rear portion of the gun is also different from that of the SRS. The HTI sports a much more streamlined design and feels less bulky than the SRS. If you look closely, they actually look quite different from each other. The SRS is more rounded and curved, and the HTI is more straight and angled, but they both have the added monopod. You can see here and here. You can deploy the monopod by using this ring here. You simply pull it down and the monopod comes out. You can also adjust it finally by rotating this clockwise or counterclockwise to get the perfect height that you are looking for. To field strip the gun, you simply just use the Allen keys that Silverback gives you with the gun. To start, we're gonna first eject the magazine, then we're gonna take the bolt and springs out, and then we'll proceed to take out the barrel. So we'll show you guys this whole process, starting with the magazine. Eject the magazine, and it's a really big mag. More on this later because it's actually pretty cool. If you come closer, there's a detent right here. If you pull this back, you can swivel the buttstock out of the way, which then allows you to access the spring right here. I feel like what they've done to allow you to remove the spring of the HTI is a much nicer system than what was seen previously on the SRS. There's a lock and unlock icon right here, as you can see on the corner of the screen. All you gotta do is take the Allen key, turn it towards the unlock side, press in, rotate, and there it is. This is the spring and the spring guide. This is a huge spring guide. Now, for the barrel. So you need to loosen these screws here. Then you take this part here, just like removing the spring, go from lock, unlock. You should be able to slide that barrel right out. And that's how you remove the barrel. This is a very long barrel. And finally, I should have done this a little earlier, but I should show you guys the bolt as well. Pull the bolt out. Pull the bolt out. And that is your Silverback SRS stripped down. Quickly, I want to touch on this magazine. Now, this is a very thin, lightweight metal magazine that holds 38 rounds, and you don't need any tools to remove or repair or to take out the follower or the spring. All you gotta do is take this tab down here, pull it back, and that will eject this holder here for the whole spring to come out. Very ingenious way that Silverback designed this mag. While we have the barrel disassembled, I want to show you guys how to properly remove the flash hider so you can put on the suppressor. First, this ring here, you loosen it. Once that is loosened, it's going to reveal a screw here. Once you have loosened this screw, the flash hider can then be removed and the suppressor can be put on. It's that simple. An interesting thing to note, the hop-up on the HTI is compatible with the SRS fast hop-up. So if you want to change that out for something easier that is more rotary style, you can absolutely do that because they're both compatible. Getting into some more details of the gun, we previously showed you how big this bolt is. It's that huge because it needs to simulate a 50 cal bolt, and for practical reasons, it needs to pump out a lot of air. Silverback told me it holds 71 cubic centimeters of air, which is enough to drive a BB out of the 730mm inner barrel at a fairly high velocity. Do you know that the VSR-10's bolt only holds about 35 cubic centimeters? Yes, the HTI's bolt has double the air volume of that gun, and for such a large gun, you need that. For such a big gun like this, you would probably imagine that this bolt would be a pain in the butt to actuate, but you'd be mistaken. It's actually buttery smooth. It doesn't require a whole lot of force to pull this thing back. Of course, if you want higher FPS, you're going to put a stiffer spring in this thing. But when I was in Germany, I did try one with a much stiffer spring, and it didn't feel any harder than what I'm feeling right now. This is a great action. An added thing is they've over-engineered this bolt so much that you can cock it just based on the weight of the gun itself. Now check this out. Don't do that with your VSR-10. Silverback has been making the SRS for many years, and so they really know what they're doing when it comes to making sniper rifles. The bolt rotation and transition, as you can see here, is really smooth due to specific machining right here in the chamber. And the action is so smooth, it prevents users from jamming BBs inside, causing damage. This also allows for more consistent BB placement, for better consistency, and of course, most importantly for sniper rifles, accuracy. The controls of the gun are conveniently placed, where you can easily access them with nothing more than just your index finger. And the pistol grips have always been great on the Silverback SRS, and it is no different right here on the HTI. The gun is a mixture of aluminum, which gives it its weight, and polymer. As we just compared it to the Intervention, it makes the gun a bit lighter. The hop-up adjustment on this gun is the same as the SRS, so you use these two little holes here. Just take your time and tune it a little bit at a time. There's no rush because you could really dial this gun in. Now, if you don't want to do this, as I previously mentioned, the hop-up are compatible with the SRS. So if you want to, you can swap this stock hop-out out for the new fast hop-up. If you want to know what that thing looks like, you can check out more on our online store by clicking on the card above.
I'm using 0.2 gram BBs. And one more for good luck. It's the time we've all been waiting for. It's time to shoot the HTI, and welcome back to the warehouse, by the way, where we have a target set out all the way down there. Now, I threw the suppressor back on because why not? I'm expecting a lot of goodness out of this gun. Oh, it's heavy. I'm using the step ladder as a stabilizing platform. And just for your information, I've put some .36 BBs in this magazine, so we're gonna get a good amount of stability as well. Let's see how she fares. I can't get over this action. Being such an incredibly balanced gun, that's due to its weight distribution being right here in the middle and right here towards the rear. Even though it's so heavy, the balance really kind of takes that weight off. Plus, I'm using the stepladder as a balancing platform. It really makes the gun shoot laser beams. I'm looking through the scope and I feel like I'm sending the round down at the same place every single shot. And there's something to be said about this action. I keep singing its praises because it's really helping me keep my eyes on my target where I'm placing it, and with a minimal amount of wobble, I feel like I'm hitting the same space. Check out those results. Heavier weight BBs, dialed in that scope. Not bad at all. Not bad.
So the HTI seems to have knocked it out of the park. But if you want to check out the SRS video that Tim did a while ago, why don't you click on the card above. If you want some other sniper rifle videos, I did 2 videos of the Striker Amoeba AS01 and 02. Also, if you want to check out a really 10-year-old video of the Target Intervention, click on the card above and you can find all those links in the description below. It's kind of like a watch party. So sit down, relax, get a drink, get some popcorn, and pause the video here and away you guys go. You done? You back? All right, let's wrap this baby up. The HTI, while it resembles an oversized SRS, I felt really reassured that the guys at Silverback didn't just take an SRS and throw it in a bigger body. No, they didn't. What they did was they took a lot of essences from the real gun and then translated it to this airsoft gun, all while kind of making it, well, its own, even though it did have some compatibility with the SRS, such as the hop-up. While everything sounds great with this gun, are you gonna run into potential problems with it? Well, yes. For starters, it's a heavy boy. So if you're gonna be lugging this gun around, it's got some heft. I mean, just check how heavy this thing is. It's no joke. So prepare to do a bit of a bicep workout when you're lugging this thing back and forth on the field. The other thing is the magazine. This is not a small mag. It's pretty big. So if you're gonna find pouches for this, make sure your pouch has a bit of stretch, like those bungee pouches. If not, you're gonna be stuffing your admin pouch with a bunch of these mags. I don't know how comfortable that's gonna be. And at this point, I feel like I'm just nitpicking. Silverback claims that the HTI is the only viable airsoft 50 cal for you to bring to games. And I'm inclined to agree with them for these 6 reasons. Reason number 1, it's heavy but not so heavy that you're tempted to leave it at home. Reason number 2, it's relatively compact, so taking it to games is still fairly painless. Reason number 3, it's engineered well and can be upgraded to be a true sniper. Reason number 4, it's simple to load and use without fussing about shells, so you can focus more time on playing and less time on finding, well, where your shells have went. Reason number 5, it's spring powered so it works in very cold climates. Reason number 6, for my big boys out there, finally a big enough sniper rifle for you to use practically without feeling cramped. So that was my 6 reasons as to why I think the HTI is the only viable airsoft 50 cal for you guys to purchase right now. But what do you guys think? Would you rock this thing on your local field? Would you like to lug this big boy and slay some bodies? I know I sure would if I had the opportunity. So let me know all your thoughts in the comment section below. And if you want cool products like this and many more, don't forget to check out our online store, www.redwolfairsoft.com. If you like this video, give us a like, and if you haven't subscribed yet, you know what to do. My name is Mark, aka Blue Steel, and I'll catch you guys on the next episode of RWTV. Have a good one, guys. Quake, is your foot okay, buddy? My bad, bro. I literally didn't know you were there.